Welcome to the July 17th regularly scheduled Board of Education meeting. If you could silence your cell phones and then join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Ms. Horowitz, do you want to take roll for us, please?
Certainly. President McFarland, not here. Vice President Rausch.
Here.
Secretary Hatfield, not present. Treasurer Lauterbach is not present. Member Blasey.
Here.
Member Ringgold. Here. And myself.
All right, so we have a quorum. Moving on to item number 2, which is a consent agenda of approval. Item 2.1 is approval of the June 19th regular meeting minutes. Item 2.2, the below staff are being recommended to hire as listed in your agenda packet. Item 2.3 is an employee leave request as seen in your board packet. Item 2.4, the below staff have announced their resignation with the effective dates as listed. Item number 2.5 is adoption of the Midland School Code Articles, Section 105 and 105C, which dictates school of choice to accept students from the surrounding districts. And then item number 2.6 are the June 2023 financials. Will not be available for approval until I just have the outdated copy, August. The August Board of Education meeting. And then item 2.7 is approval is requested to authorize legal payments to the below list for professional legal fees. I'll entertain a motion for approval of the consent agenda.
I move to approve consent agenda items 2.1 through 2.7.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Ringgold, support by Horowitz. Any discussion on consent agenda?
So for an employee leave request, we just get informed of it. It's up to administration to decide if that is approved?
Yes, we
Okay.
handle those through the Human Resources Department and engage in dialogue about those.
Okay.
Any other questions? Comments?
Fred, to be clear though, it does require your approval, so
Okay.
ultimately it's the board's decision.
Okay.
All right. All in favor of approval of the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Item number 3.1 is for information this meeting. So the July meeting, we wanted to notice the board and the public of the RFP that we've drafted, or request for proposal, that we've drafted to try and find a search firm to help us with the superintendent selection process. So this is consistent with the timeline that we presented to the board in May's meeting. So our intent is, and the reason why we wanted to put it in the board packet this month was so that everybody could have a chance to review it, solicit feedback from the board. If you have feedback, please direct it to myself, Brad, and Scott McFarland, as the three of us have been working with the law firm that the board retains for these types of services. And then the intention would be to solicit any feedback between now and our August meeting, and then in August we would take action on actually approval of the RFP to go out to various search firms. So, like I said, it's just for information this month, and then we'll take action on it next month. Any questions or initial feedback at the moment? Nope. If you want to help us on selling the district and the community, please do so. We did put a little bit of color in there on who Midland is and what we try to achieve as a district, so. Item 3.2 is for action, tax resolution for 23-24. Mr. Bertin?
Thank you, Phil. Appreciate it. This is actually the third time that these numbers have been in front of you. At the first June Board of Education meeting, we presented these rates. At the second June Board of Education meeting, we actually approved them for the city of Midland. And tonight, your action will allow me to send a form called the L4029 to our county equalization director, and then that will allow him to work with all of the townships and other municipalities outside of the city of Midland to be able to set these tax rates. So there's a very long resolution within your board packet which states 4 rates that we are setting this evening. The first rate is your 18 mills on non-homestead properties. Your second rate is our hold harmless millage, which is 0.4531 mills. I want to highlight those two again because those are coming due for renewal, as we pointed out at the June Board of Education meeting. More to come on that as the renewal date gets closer, but those are 2 absolutely essential pieces of funding for us here at Midland Public Schools. Those 2 together are about $21 million in revenue, so very special and important to us to be able to do all the great things we do. The third rate will be set on commercial personal properties. This comes out to 6.4531 mills. The formula is you take your 18 mills non-homestead, commercial personal property is exempt from the first 12 mills, so 18 take away 12 gives you 6, but they are not exempt from the hold harmless. Add your .4531 on top of that, that comes out to your final rate. And finally, our 2.95 mills for our bond debt that was passed in 2015. So your action this evening, through traditionally a roll call vote, will allow me to send those forms over to our equalization director so that they can prepare their rolls for this upcoming tax collection season.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll entertain a motion for 3.2.
I move to approve item number 3.2, taking action on the tax resolution for 2023-2024.
Second.
All right, motion by Ringgold, support by Blasey. And any discussion? Any questions? All right.
Nope.
As Brian noted, this is a roll call vote, so yeah.
President Roush,
Support?
Member Blasey,
Support.
Member Ringgold. Support. I support the motion.
All right, motion carries unanimously. All right, at this time, we'll move to item number 4, which is request to address the board. First on the list, Mr. Bonadis. Welcome, thank you for joining us.
Hello. Welcome to July 2023. At the June 2022 meeting, the board had a consent agenda item called up as 2.4 and called out as, quote, approval of continuity of learning plan, unquote, and subsequently unanimously approved among the other consent items. In the June 2022 agenda package was the 28-page document entitled, quote, Continuity of Learning and COVID-19 Response Plan 2022-23, Plan for Remote Learning and Phases 1, 2, 3. Not sure if the omission of the latter 2/3 of the title was intentional or laziness, but the public might have liked to see this document if you actually read the whole title. My wife and I have not seen the 2023-24 plan in the agenda package yet. If you buried it deeper, we will dig it up. If not passed yet, I'd like to make a comment before you recycle last year's without taking in some hard-earned learnings of the last 2 years. You have a lot of flowery language throughout this document, and much of it is contradicted by other parts of the document. In one part, you want maximal learning and growth, and you have many roles and responsibility sections where you have people monitoring the social, emotional well-being of the students and staff. But you roll smoothly into how you would do this in a remote learning paradigm. Nowhere is the concept of learning loss and damage caused by remote learning in the document to counterbalance the steps towards remote learning. There is flowery language early on like, quote, the goal will always be ongoing in-person instruction. However, if there are times remote learning may be needed, et cetera. With the CDC, NIH, WHO, WEF, all having recently talked about the next pandemic, which may or may not be true, I would say that the barrier to going remote needs to be stronger. Trust has been severely damaged in the health officials. Most will not believe the next fatality numbers, the mask mandates, or lockdown effectiveness, and certainly not the vaccine effectiveness numbers again. And if people go along with 2 weeks to flatten the curve again, then which became 2 years, they deserve what they get. For the 2023-24 plan, assuming it does not already exist, have some backbone. When you interview the next superintendent, I'm okay with someone who can take abuse, but they need to be able to resist the compliance train that would grind the students further into the ground. Thank you.
I only had one on my list. Is there anybody else that needed to or wanted to address the board tonight? Okay. Close the floor. All right. Item number 5, curriculum instruction and assessment. Item 5.1 for action, textbook adoption. Penny.
Yes, at our last meeting, we brought to you for information the textbook for our honors level geometry class, and it's back to you tonight for your action. The book is titled Elementary Geometry for College Students. It's from Cengage as a publisher with a copyright date of 2020, and pending your approval, we'll get these approved, or ordered rather, straight away so that they can be here for the start of the school year.
Okay. Need a motion?
I move to approve the textbook in item 5.1 for approval.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Ringgold, support by Horowitz. Any questions or discussion? All right. All in favor of approval of 5.1, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Just double checking, there were no minutes from meetings this month, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, no minutes because we have not
Have not
met.
met.
Got it.
Correct.
Thank you.
Yes.
So item number, or section 6 is finance, facilities, and operations. Item 6.1 is for action, CTE lab equipment. Brian.
Thank you. This evening, we are seeking your approval to deliver a purchase order to Sayhi Computer Products of Rochester, Michigan. That's for $214,242.50. This is for replacing the devices in 5 CTE labs at our secondary schools. This pricing is for 170 computers, 170 monitors, and they're replacing workstations that have been in place since 2015. They've been well used, they are aged in the world of tech speaking, and we are looking for devices that will actually support the current versions of CAD software. This pricing is provided to us through the REMC spot bid, does follow your board purchasing policy, and it is currently scheduled to come out of our Series 3 bonds.
Okay. Thank you, Brian. Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the expenditure for the CTE lab equipment in the amount of $214,000. That's some change.
Second.
Motion by Horowitz, support by Ringgold. Any questions?
See, we have 5 CTE labs and only 4 buildings, so which one has 2?
Delhi has Graphic Arts Lab as well.
Okay.
Good question. Any other questions or comments? All right. Everybody in support of item 6.1, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 6.2 is for information, gifts totaling $6,394.61. Brian.
Thank you. We wish to acknowledge 7 gifts this evening, as you have said, totaling $6,394.61. They span a variety of items, including student field trips, athletic program supports, and funds for multiple music programs. Per our tradition, each donor is going to be acknowledged in the broadcast credits and also through board correspondence. We certainly appreciate our donors' generosity.
Then, thank you, Brian. No FFO meeting earlier today, right?
Correct.
Brad?
That's
Okay.
correct.
So that was rescheduled for this month yet? But no minutes either way,
No,
right? 'Cause we have
no minutes.
Okay. Item number 7 is human resources. I'll note right now that we did not meet in the last month. Item 7.1 for information on retirements. Jeff?
Thanks, Phil. Mr. Jeff Penix announced his retirement from Woodcrest Elementary. He has served as the principal there for 21 years. That retirement was effective on June 30th, 2023. And I'll continue to 7.2 if that's
Yep.
okay. And then the board and staff, as always, extend their sympathy to the families of past educators. And in June, Lorna Vandercroy passed away on the 29th. She was a teacher at both Sugnet and Longview Elementary from 1955 to 1962. She resigned in 1962, but stayed in education, actually began to work for Midland Christian School for a period of time afterwards.
Thank you, Jeff. Item 8 is correspondence to and from the Board of Education. Item 8.1 for information, letters from the Board of Education to the following individuals and entities listed in the board pack. Item number 9, scheduled activities for information. All of the regular and special meetings of the Board of Education begin at 7 p.m. as listed, with our next one being August 21st at 7 p.m. Item number 10, our study session discussion. 10.1, any points of clarification from any of the board members? And Ms. Miller-Nelson, we'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, I'll just offer that the next time we're together in August, we will have officially started the school year. So I wanted to let you know that our teachers, we're preparing for our teachers to return. Our principals and school teams and curriculum office are just planning great things for our new teacher orientation, which will be on the 9th and 10th. And then we welcome all of our new teachers back on the 14th and 15th. And then we'll be together for our board meeting on the 21st, and students are back that next morning on the 22nd. So rest assured that our team is working hard already in preparation for the start of the school year. Good things are happening.
My family got our welcome letter to pre-primary center for preschool today, so we're already getting ramped up for the year. So,
Awesome. We're excited.
Good.
That's all I have. Thanks for being here.
All right, thank you. Item number 11, adjournment.
So moved.
All right. We stand adjourned. Thank you.